Good morning, Ohio. It is James Lewis of this Dream House here with Dominic Jones of the AFL. Dominic, tell us, you're from Ohio, Columbus specifically. So does that give you extra joy in bringing back the Destroyers?
I definitely do. I mean, anybody who knows me personally, I'm Ohio through and through. I try to cheer on all Ohio sports teams, regardless of who they are. But I just know it's deep rooted. I think that's the beautiful thing about Ohio, Northeast Ohio, in general, Central Ohio doesn't matter, Cincinnati area. Everybody loves football, and so anytime we can put, a franchise like the Destroyers back into a market like this, it's going to do well.
I agree with you 100%. I mean, Ohio's got a great, rich history with football. Of course, Ohio State, the Browns, the Bengals, all kinds of great things. The Cincinnati Commandos, the Marion Blue Racers, you name it. When you think of football, Canton, of course, you think of
Yep.
Ohio.
Absolutely, absolutely, no doubt about it. So again, I'm excited to be involved. Obviously, like you say, it's my hometown, so that's what will bring me more joy than bringing home a championship. That's for sure.
Oh, definitely. And I can imagine, what was it, 2 years ago when Cleveland brought home a championship? We're probably pretty excited about that.
Yeah, we was we were fairly close, arena football wise. I think in 2014 we went to the Arena Bowl, came up short to the Arizona Rattlers, but it was a crazy run. I think we went 17-1 that year. I think we won 5 games within under 30 seconds left. We came back and scored a game-winning touchdowns to win those games. So, yeah. So I mean, again, it's just a lot of joy, a lot of excitement in terms of football in Ohio. So I'm happy that we're in Columbus.
Exactly. Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, you got the history with playing with the Gladiators, and of course going down south and playing with the Predators. Which was
Yeah.
your favorite to play, on defense or special teams?
I'm gonna have to say defense. I mean, just because I like to hit people. I mean, that was my mentality. I was an aggressive defensive back, and so yeah. I mean, Orlando was a great time. Some of the best fans in arena football are from Orlando. I love them, and then obviously I went back to Cleveland where I started my career at, and those fans, they are rapid as well. I mean, they're rapid. I mean, they're really into it. They show up and they show out over the thing. I mean, if you look at the attendance numbers over the past 4 or 5 years, and even since when Cleveland came into the league, the attendance levels have been extremely high. So they're supporting arena football. Not just in Cleveland, but hopefully they show up and do the same thing in Columbus. I remember. In 2014, I think you had the Indians playoff game going on, and you had Johnny Manziel playing his first ever game in Brown Stadium. Then you had us playing the Arena Bowl, and we were sold out. I think we had 18, 19,000 people, here to see Arena football game, and all those other professional sports were going on the same night. So it's a beautiful game, man. The fans are loyal. I think it's one of those things. Once you come to a game, you're hooked. You come to one game, you're hooked on arena football.
I
So,
agree with you. I mean, it is a completely different experience. I mean, yeah, you think football is fun and fast paced, but nothing compared to arena ball. I agree with you
right,
100% there. And then, of
absolutely.
course, you coached up there in Cleveland. What's your role with the Destroyers going to be?
Yeah, so yeah, I had the pleasure of coaching, and that was just part of my deal. Honestly, a lot of people don't know I didn't want to coach, but Coach Tunn at the time thought that I had a lot to offer from a coaching standpoint, as well as contribute to our front office. So I kind of did double duty, for a couple of years until I ultimately just became the director of football operations. And so, no different here now in terms of football operation wise. Only difference is now I will not be coaching. I'll strictly just be on the football ops business side of things. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's a great opportunity for, myself and my career, but also just for, players. Oftentimes I tell players, use me as a prime example of how to, trying to use your resources and, and advance yourself post football career. That could be a hard transition for a lot of players. But by But by me being in this position, hopefully I'll be able to help players transition out to the real world.
Excellent, which is huge. I was going to say I've had some other guests that have really putting an emphasis on that, and I agree with you and them that that is one of those things that players don't get enough of is learning about the transition. Because, like you said, I mean, you're going to get so many opportunities, to play, but after that, you need to be able to transition into the real world and be able to do other things, and being able to make those connections is huge.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So hopefully, like I said, guys who, decide to come and play for Columbus, they'll get that, they'll get that for sure.
So the Destroyers, are they a new team? Are they a an expansion team, or is it continued off the history of the Destroyers?
That's a good question. I think, we jokingly say, hey, we've been undefeated since '08, you know, and I think a large in part is that even though the Destroyers have left over the past, over a decade ago, the energy that's in the city right now, you would think that they never left. People are truly responding in a way that I didn't know that we thought that they would, but it's been nothing but positive receptions, and people are pulling out their old gear. Obviously we've changed our colors a tad bit. The logo is similar, the same, but people are excited, and so I think it's just a continuation on. We kind of took a short break, but we're back now. We're back, and we kind of want to pick up and hit the ground running right off where we left at.
So, what's the process of acquiring players like? Is there any expansion draft? Is it just free agents? How do you acquire players?
Yeah, so coming up here probably next week, looking like the 4th. Next week we will ramp up free agency. The unique thing about the league this year is that majority of the players that were already a part of the league last year are all free agents, just the way the CBA fell and the standard player contract. So we'll have our fair share. We'll have a great opportunity to go out there and get some of the best players, that's on the market. And so, that's huge too, because, usually when an expansion team comes in, or a team that comes in that, that hasn't necessarily been around the league, they have to go through, the expansion process, which you don't really get the chance to pull from the cream of the crop per se. And so, but we're coming in a fortunate situation in a year where we're able to get a chance to sign a whole bunch of free agents. So we'll start to do that. We'll start to have a tryout too. March 23rd is when we'll have that. We'll have information released on Monday with details on that. So we'll pull players from there, our tryout. We'll sign free agents. If you can play football, we want you. We want you to send us your film. We don't care who you are, where you played at. If you can ball, if you still got the juice, we want you.
Excellent. And you mentioned the color scheme change. What's the new color scheme?
Yeah, so we're primarily a black and white team with the hints of gray and silver, so to speak. And so, we'll have home uniforms that are, primarily all black, and our white uniforms will be primarily our white. Will be our primary uniforms for the away game. But yeah, so we'll go with a traditional, different, just a black and white, like I said, but with hints of gray and silver. So no other team in the league right now is that. So we'll mix in right well.
So tell us about your coaching staff.
Yeah, so you got obviously Coach Salk, who I think was a good coach, man. He's been around for a while. He's had some great success as an offensive coordinator. As we were doing our research, I think at one point, in either 2013 or 2014, I want to say, he was scoring on 80% of his drives.
Oh wow!
and that's what you call efficient, And so, so to have a veteran coach like him who's familiar with the player landscape as well, I think that's extremely important to point out, is that, so much about signing free agents and, just being successful in this league is having player relationships. players have to trust you, and the reputation has to be good. And when we did our you know our kind of investigation on him and just what players thought, etc. It was nothing but positive reviews. And so yeah, so we feel like he's a great leader, and he'll get us to where we want to be. And secondly, there's Clay Harrell that we know at this point in time. Clay Harrell has been around the league as a player and had great success. He's coached. He coached up in Cleveland as well, so he's familiar with just Ohio football in general. But Clay is another one of those guys who players just respect. I think that's, again, such a huge part of professional sports is, the guy who's actually coaching, do you actually respect him, and his knowledge. And Clay is one of those guys who's done it. He's preached it, and now he's teaching it, and guys kind of gravitate to him, man. He's a fiery guy, but he gets the most out of players. Not just at his position either. He gets the most out of guys, from the offensive side of the ball and even in the secondary, although he's the offensive line and defensive line coach. So Clay's going to be good for us. And then the last staff member who I know that we've hired so far, and we'll announce these shortly, is Stanley Franks. Stanley Franks will be a great addition. He has some time in Spokane. He also spent some time on a coaching staff for the BC Lions in Canada. And so yeah, I mean, he's a great defensive back coach, and he'll be able to anchor that, and he'll be able to relate to players as well. Another one of those guys who's played the game, who knows the game, who's seen a lot of football. So I think it'll be important. He had a run at Idaho State as well, where he coached the secondary there. So yeah, so that's the kind of the three guys, obviously right now, who we've hired, and from a football standpoint. And we have Rich Whitmire, who's our COO, who's been getting things up and going and moving in a positive direction. I think we're at a little bit over 1,000 season ticket member deposits already.
Oh, wow.
In less than a month.
Yeah.
And, less than a month, and we've done zero marketing so far. I mean, nothing real major other than social media posts.
Mm-hmm.
We'll ramp that up here shortly. But I just think, again, it's all a tribute to, location of us being in Columbus and, the fans here just embracing us, the city embracing us.
So with it being a 6-team league, obviously there's going to be a lot of intensity between the teams. What's it, Philadelphia, Atlantic City, Albany? I'm forgetting the other two for some reason.
Baltimore and Washington.
Baltimore and Washington. Excellent.
Yep.
So obviously, this is just my pick for your all's rival is, I'm guessing, Albany, because they're your first game, and then they're your first home game, and you're also your last home game of the season. So some important games will be played against them.
Absolutely. Albany was one of those successful teams last year too. I think they have a good staff. They have a good city too. I mean, they were putting butts in the seats last year. I think upwards of around 12,000 per game. So, for players, to go inside those arenas, it's always good, to go in somebody else's, home and obviously defeat them. But they're gonna be tough to beat. I think they're definitely gonna be probably one of the teams at the end that's standing, and you got to go through. But that's why we play the game. That's why we love the game. But I think I think the coach would probably say every week is a rivalry. Up to this point in time, and we just want to develop that type of mentality here from a front office standpoint, from a football ops standpoint, on down through our coaches to our players. And so we don't really want to look ahead at anybody or but take it 1 week at a time, one game at a time, and then we'll ultimately be where we want to be at the end of the year.
Oh, definitely. And then how great was it working with Jaws, Ron Jaworski?
Jaws, man, he's a ball of energy, man. He's everything you want, and an owner and somebody who's helping represent the league. I think his passion, his drive, his creativity, his belief in arena football is huge for us as a league. And he's a stand-up guy. Players love him or whatnot. And yeah, I mean, again, nothing but great things to say about Jaws and what he's done not only for arena football, what he continues to do in his community, with his own foundation and everything like that. So, great guy.
I was going to say the nice thing is right now, like you said, pretty much everybody's a free agent, so there's no tampering to be had. When I say who are some of those players that fans should want to see?
Man, that's a good question. I don't know if coach would want me to say, throw out some names, but what I will say is this: we'll have a great mixture of some veterans and some rookies out there. Some of the top guys who are all arena guys last year, who made the all arena team, those guys are first on our list. And there's been some preliminary, kind of discussions amongst the coaching staffs, and we feel like we got a great chance to go get some of these guys. The beautiful thing about it as well is that one of our coaches, before he got hired, had conversations with, a lot of the players that if he were to get hired, he's, kind of filling them out. And so, and again, I think that it will carry over. Once guys are able to come to the city, see what we have to offer here in the community, what we're doing as a program, kind of some of the stuff that we have set up for them outside of football to help develop life skills to be successful. I think that, a lot of guys will appreciate that, and it will help us in the recruiting tool. We've partnered up with Bo Jackson facility for they'll host our tryout coming up here in March, and then hopefully we'll lock up, the deal long term and practice at the Bo Jackson facility in Hilliard, Ohio, which is a phenomenal facility, which players can appreciate as well, coming in and being treated like a professional. So, we'll go after the big time quarterback. You got to put up points. I think, this is a quarterback-driven league, no different than the NFL. We're going to go after the best. We're going after the best with everything that we got, and we'll believe that we'll land one of those guys.
Exactly. That's it. You've talked my quarterback to come out of retirement. I can tell you're excited. The hefty lefty, Jared Lorenzen. That's it. He will sign with you. Nah, just messing. No, he was our quarterback. He was darn good back in the day, and fortunately, just like me and you, I think we're a couple years past playing. But
absolutely,
yeah. I just wanted to throw his name out there because he's. It was a fun time having the River Monsters and the Arena League back in the day, and I am excited about, of course, Columbus with the Destroyers being back. Now, the important thing is because you're playing back at your home at Nationwide Arena. Where can fans get those tickets?
Oh man, you can go on www.columbusdestroyers.com. And you can put down your deposits. We'll start contacting people for actual seat locations here soon. We'll put that up. But yeah, I will go right now to, again, columbusdestroyers.com, and you can put your deposit down for your season tickets. And here shortly we'll have people reaching out, receiving emails. Sending out emails for actual seat locations. And so, don't be left off that list. Because they're going to go fast, obviously. I think we're close to like second or third in season ticket members right now. Just in the, around the league. And so, so it's great. It's a great time.
And the Nationwide Arena is one of the best arenas in the nation. To watch sports. And of course, they got the Blue Jackets and they have other great events there. And of course, having the Destroyers is just going to add to the appeal, the allure of the arena.
Right. Yeah, again, we were just in there for the press conference inside, and I can remember back in, everything come around full circle, but I remember back in 2004, I attended my first Destroyers game inside of there, and I had a hell of a time then as a kid, as a high school kid at that particular time, and now I'm coming back full circle. I kind of get that same energy and that same kind of jitters walking in there now, but obviously I'm just more of an intricate part of the team. This go around, but it's a phenomenal building. It's awesome. It's an awesome location in terms of the community downtown area. And, I'm just happy for the community, honestly. Because everything here obviously is Ohio State, man. Ohio State is they're the big dogs around town, and, everybody loves their Buckeyes. And so, our thing is, hey, we still love the Buckeyes too, but guess what? When the Buckeyes aren't on, you can still get your fix, your football fix April through the first part of August, which is pretty much right after Ohio State spring game, but obviously right before Ohio State kicks off the regular season too. So we'll be done. So football is year round for us, man.
Exactly. And the nice thing is, not that once again we're not giving away any player names or anything like that, but if there happen to be some Buckeyes on your roster or Bobcats or Bearcats, wouldn't be just saying.
Yeah. Listen. There's a few guys, who were targeted and who've reached out to us and their agents have, and they are former Buckeyes. A couple of former UC guys, a few former OU guys. We have some former Toledo guys, former Akron guys. Locally, we got some former Outerbind, Capital, and Ohio Dominican guys too. So we're literally, going to be deep rooted through Ohio. I mean, I think we're not just saying, hey, we're only going to sign Ohio players, but we understand the talent that's here, and so we want to make sure that we're giving every opportunity to former players that's played within these cities a chance to make the team.
We've talked about the fun stuff. We talked about the tickets. We talked about the players. The crazy thing I want to talk about last, of course, is rule changes. What are your thoughts on some of those rule changes? The cutting down on the clock stoppages, changing the rules on the timeouts, that kind of thing.
I think it's I think it's good. Anytime you can speed up the game, I think that's what TV partners want, right? Everybody wants the same product, but they want it a little bit faster. I think baseball is trying to figure that whole process out as well. And I think the study was showing that we were stopping the clock. I think how many times the clock was stopping, it was taking extremely long for that last minute, before half. And I think what we found was that, more oftentimes than not, the score didn't change. It was a bunch of onside kick. There's a whole bunch of extra time added for no reason, and the score really didn't even change. At half. So, speed that up, I think will help the game as well, and same with the timeout. So, again, I think the rules committee got it right this time. I really do. But we'll see. We'll see. Might be some adjustments from a coaching standpoint. I asked Coach Salk about it. Some stuff for him to work on during camp. Coach have to adjust.
Exactly. I mean, that post touchdown or extra point or 2-point conversion where you have only the 60 seconds to do the kickoff. I mean, it's going to be quick, very fast-paced, and then, of course, with the timeouts, only having the one true traditional timeout per half.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's going to be some big changes.
Yeah, it's going to come down to coaching, too. I think that's going to be a huge part of it. Coaches will have to coach. Players will have to play. I think that's part of being a professional is being able to pay attention and adjust on the fly. I think you'll see a lot of that. And again, the best coach team will prevail most times, oftentimes than not. I think if we look at Bill Belichick and the Patriots, I don't think that they've been the most talented teams at times, but they've been the better coach teams. They're not missing assignments. They're on the field when they're supposed to be. They're tied into the game and what the situation presents. And so I think, so no different than our game. You had to see that this year with the rule changes.
Excellent. Well, I'd like to thank our guest, Dominic Jones of the AFL Columbus Destroyers. Before we let you go, social media and the web, where can they check you out at?
Man, you can catch me at I Am Dominic Jones on Instagram and Twitter, just Dominic Jones on Facebook. I invite any and all, man, come follow me. Interact with me. I try to interact back with everybody. You could also, catch me at the games. Show up at the game, show up and show out. And, if you see me, make sure you yell out.
Awesome. That's what I like to hear, fan interaction and a great quality franchise. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.